Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Musical People and Journeys album rock show! Woo! I'm your host Nigel, and with my crew here today of Trish, Simon, William, and Ian.
Hi!
Welcome gang, welcome gang, welcome gang. So, another feast today. 2 brand new albums to review, and this is how we're going to do it. They're going to go mash up head to head. Which album would we buy? And then we're going to give a rating out of 5 for our listening pleasure, personal listening pleasures. How much pleasure do we get listening to them? If between the global 5 they get more than 20, they might well get into our album of the year and to our Hall of Fame. Well, who knows? Who have we got today? Well, it's a bit of a power metal battle going on here. Saint Daemon versus the mighty Against Myself. I feel like I'm against myself here as well. So Saint Daemon and their album League of Serpent against Myself and their album Tides of Insanity. But who are they? Because I'd never heard of them, and maybe nobody else has heard of them. Who are Saint Daemon? We'll start with Saint Daemon. Saint Daemon was founded in 2006 by former Dionysus drummer Ronnie. Oh my God, these names here. Ronnie. We're just going to go with Ronnie. And music mastermind singer Tobias Lundgren. They soon were joined by equal mastermind, multi-instrumental guitarist Ragnar Widerberg from Witherscape and Toya Johansson. 1 year later, Tobias Ragnar stepped down, and the lineup was completed with singer Jan Tore Grefstad, ex-Highland Glory, and the bass player Nobby Noberg, ex-Nation. The band signed with worldwide deal with Frontier Records the same year, which resulted in 2 albums, Shadows of the Lost from the Brave and Pandemonium 2008 and 9 respectively. Extensive lineup appearances followed, with gigs all the way from North Cap down through Europe, crowned with memorable appearances at the prestigious Prog Power USA Festival in Atlanta. 2011, Ronnie decided to part ways with the band at record time. Oscar Nielsen prepared and nailed the set list for the rest of the 2011 gigs. Check out the road trip to Norway Rock 2011, the video where he can be seen with band's new drummer for the first time. Right, so this phrase from their website: little did the band know yet to come, importance in the choice of their successor for the job. But didn't really go on really much to say more about that. So, Saint Daemon, let's start with you then, Ian. Let's start with you, my friend, and their album League of Serpents. I'm going to presume, as you're on the same journey as me, that you had not come across Saint Daemon before. And, well, what did you think?
Well, that's correct. I hadn't come across them before. I would like to just offer an apology to Simon. In the last episode, when you were reviewing Powerwolf, I had a problem with the position of my laptop and I was moving around, so I apologise if that distracted away from your review. Back to Saint Daemon. No, I hadn't. The one thing I did enjoy about this and liked was the spelling of the word demon. I like that. I like things that are slightly different and not the normal, but mean the same thing. It's cool. Yeah, power metal. And I thought what really caught me with this, because there are a couple of tracks that made me question that, and there were undertones of country rock riff in a couple of the tracks, namely Lord of the Night and Lost in Your Sin. You listen to them. There's definitely a kind of like country vibe to those, especially through the intros. 100%. Again, lots of double bass pedaling, always good in power metal. Simple guitar work in it, to be fair, but there were some delicious moments. A couple of the solos were just really cool. But I thought the guitar work was quite understated in this, intentionally so, or could have done more with it. Who knows? But all along this album kind of just plods along. There's awesome vocals, absolutely awesome vocals with this, and a good solid sort of foot stomping beat that goes along with this power metal. but there were no real standout tracks. If I'm being honest with it, I didn't think it was a bad album. I didn't think it was a fantastic album. It just wasn't. There was nothing stand out. It was an enjoyable power metal album with. I think the lyrics were above that level, though. So perhaps the lyrics carried it. The vocals carried the album, I thought.
Okay, interesting. Trish, what did Saint Demon do for you? Did they make you think Demon or Saint? What?
Oh yeah. As soon as this album started, it hit me like a tornado, even, with banging guitar riffs and drums. This album will have you raising your fists, pumping in the air, charging with melodic rock-driven power metal. The 11 tracks are highly polished, and your ears will be induced to listen again. Anyone new to the band yet familiar with the power metal genre will find no trouble in listening to the melodies on offer with this new release. League of the Serpent is an excellent fun Euro power metal album, and it sits well within the framework of the genre. And for me, the favourite track on the album is Lost in Your Sin.
Lost in Your Sin. Now, talking about Lost in Sin, Simon. So, what do you think of it? Because let's be honest, you and Will are aficionados on power metal. Is this somebody you'd heard of before? Is this somebody you come across before?
No, it's completely new to me. And this sounds like some solid power metal. And I felt like the album covered sort of nearly every version of power metal you could want in a way. Sort of classic power metal at Break of Dawn. Bit of a ballad, The Final Fight. Bit of modern metal, Lost in Your Sin. Favourite track of mine as well. It's a good one. But even though I really wanted to love this album, I can't shake that there's something sort of oddly generic about it, despite what I've just said. Which sounds odd, but I'm just not sure how else to present it. I enjoyed the album. It was nice to listen to. Apart from Lost in Your Sin, I don't think anything else really stood out as a particular favourite of mine. But I'm going to keep an eye out to see what else they do in future. So, yeah.
Cool. William.
Hello.
Saint Demon. Surely come across your radar.
Fun. I've never heard them in my life. No. So, fun fact first. With the weird spelling of demon, technically, that's a correct spelling.
It is.
Just get it out. So, demon, the conventional way, is an evil demon spirit. But demon spelled in their way is a good spirit. Like a guardian angel kind of thing. So, while it looks weird, it's technically Saint Good Spirit. So, it's just that their name is Good. Basically.
I love that, Will. I love learning things. Thank you.
I'm going to call you Will the Demon from now on, because that aptly describes you, mate.
But, I mean, I feel like Simon kind of said up there, the album's sort of like a jack of all trades, but master of none. It's like they're dipping their toes in all these different sort of sounds and ideas, but they've not really gone with one, and they're not really finding themselves in it.
Yeah.
Which seems like the simplest way to put it.
Yeah.
They've got good sounds. They can. They're clearly good artists. They know what they're doing, but they don't know how to do what they want to do. Which it's enjoyable. They're fun. I was teased by the album cover, as always, because it's a cool medieval battlefield with a Renaissance era ship in the background for some reason, which doesn't quite add up to me. But that was good. Average plus power / metal.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I think I think I might have just be on the same page here, guys. I think it was an enjoyable listen. Without any, I don't think I added any songs to my cool playlist, but I did enjoy the album. It was solid. It was good. There were some better moments in it than others, and I absolutely fundamentally agree. I think they tried to vary up a little bit, and they did everything well without being exceptional. So and that's it was, there's a lot of generic albums out there, and that fits nicely as to one of the better generic albums, because it did vary up a little bit, and I do like variation, without blowing me away. So it was a really good solid album, and I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. And I think that's the because there was no real big standout numbers for me that really grabbed me and went, oh, I really want to listen to that again. That's going on my cool playlist. I want to listen to that again. But I certainly would listen to the album again. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. So, who are they up against? Another unknown then. Against Myself. So, who are Against Myself? Well, Against Myself is a Spanish, don't say that often, symphonic progressive metal band founded in 2009. They had 3 albums on the market: Sky, Ashes, Odyssey to Reflection, Unity. 2 singles, The Hidden Truth and The Tempest, receiving good reviews and sales both nationally and internationally. They performed at the Leyendas del Rock in 2018, one of the biggest rock metal festivals in Spain. Their music is always constantly evolving, moving from the most elegant, emotional, dramatic passages to the most aggressive, darkest one. At the end of 2002, they announced their 4th album, Tides of Insanity, which was released in April 23. They released 3 singles: Beyond the Deep, Sweet Chance of Death, and Providence, which was greatly received by the public and media. And you can see that's not off Wiki, that's obviously walked back from their website. So, but it gives you a bit of flavour as to who they are, even if it's maybe a little bit biased, but then you would expect that. Trish, then, Against Myself.
Hello.
What do you think?
Well, the album started off quite dramatically with the sound of floating water, and then building in the orchestra and male vocal choir following. What was going to come next? The toll of the bell, followed by more instrumental, then suddenly stops. Albeit it's a dramatic start to an album, it wasn't what I was expecting. But then Providence, with the drums consistently beating, and then the female vocals bursting into song. The album is telling the story of sailors on the high seas who are heroes. The lead singer's vocals are really good, and how she hit some of those high notes, I don't know. The album is very dramatic throughout musically, but I couldn't help comparing it to Visions of Atlantis with their album Pirates because of the theme of the high seas, etc. I was waiting for that wow moment or song on Tides of Insanity, but it just didn't happen for me, unfortunately. It just lacked that certain something. Plus, the end song on the album being 20 minutes long is just way too long, but they certainly end the album with impact. That being said, it's a well-orchestrated, solid power metal album.
Wow. Simon, are we likening them to Pirates and Visions of Atlantis, do you think?
Well, a little bit, I guess. So it's gone a journey. So when I first played the album, I saw the track list, thought, it's only 8 songs, it's not very long. First track's a 2-minute intro, which I usually typically hate in non-concept albums because it feels like an absolute waste. So my initial impression was not very high at all. Providence sold me, though. I love that track. And then making my way through the album, bopping along, and then the last track started and kept going and going and going. I checked the runtime and went, heck, 20 minutes. That is an epic way to end an album. Very ambitious length for a non-prog rock band. But I did really enjoy the digital title, Tides of Insanity. Pretty insane to do a 20-minute track. So I'll also get this out of the way first. Yes, the vocals remind me of Taja, but she does have her own sound, and their band has their own take on symphonic metal. They've gone sort of in their own direction, which is really beautiful to hear. The vocals, I find, are that hauntingly beautiful siren song to the depths of symphonic metal, and thankfully the rest of the band do get their moments with some sweet guitar riffs and drum beats in different tracks. So I'm just going to take a moment. I do have a thing I want to try and explain, but before I do, I will say that I do really like the album. Beyond the Deep is my favourite track from the album. What I have issue with, and this is really hard for me to describe because I have no musical talent, literally knowledge or comprehension at all, completely tone deaf, but when she's singing the choruses and other sort of key moments, her voice is absolutely beautiful and mesmerizing, and that haunting sort of tune and those absolute highs. But in some of the verses and other sort of moments, it feels like she's still trying to draw out those high syllables and high sounds, but there isn't time before the next word or the next line, so they're really sort of staccato and cut short, and it's just it's a really minor nitpick, but when the vocals are such a big part of their sound and they're such a big front to everything, little things like that sort of just make me a bit weird. Like, it's a really minor nitpick, but it just sort of took me out of it on a couple of the tracks. But overall, really liked it.
William, symphonic metal. I mean, it's got to be your bag, surely.
I mean, it has been known that I dabble in the pirates and piratical mythology and the sailors going yo-ho-ho, etc., etc. Just to start, there was something that was nagging me, and it is exactly what Simon said.
Not just me.
I was listening, and there's something just didn't sit right with me while I was listening, and that's it. I just also don't have musical talent. I just listen to too much music and like and don't like things. It's pretty cool, this album. It did take me a few times to get into it, though. It's not like other things, like I listened to Visions, loved it immediately. I listened to Angus McTiggs, loved it immediately. Electrical Boy, loved it immediately. It took about 2-3 listens to actually start to enjoy and appreciate it. I listened to it the first time driving back from work with my brother in the car, and we were both just sat there like, yep, they're playing music. I'm a bit bored though. So it's, at times it does feel a bit too slow and there's not enough going on. Like, it seems like they 50-50 go, like, this is the singing bit, this is just instrumental. And it's just like, some of the songs for me have like a real imbalance of that. Like, it's, and I like instrumental. I want to the music for the singing. When your singer's that good, I want to hear more of that.
Yeah.
But you can understand it must destroy your voice having to do too much of it, so you need to use it sparingly to have the biggest impact in the songs. But it's quite enjoyable. Not quite piratey enough. I feel like they could have gone more in the whole Vision of Atlantis mythology, because again, it's as much as one shouldn't compare things too much. They're singing about pirates and sailors, and they both happen to have a female lead singer. But the thing that stands out Visions with me is it had that second vocalist to take the pressure off and have that comparison in the end.
Well, there was a second vocalist in there with the industrial.
Not as much.
With that industrial metal thing coming in.
Seemed as much like enough for me. It's not like
I agree.
Most Vision songs had it in it, and it was there to be like a contrast. And it's music. They played it. I mostly enjoyed. 20 minutes was a bit too long though. I did get bored by it. I confess.
Ian, did you get bored by it?
So, massive confession time. Obviously, I love symphonic metal. That presses all of the buttons for me. And I didn't realise the last track was 20 minutes. I knew it was long, but I didn't realise it was 20 minutes long. So yes, I guess I didn't mind the 20 minutes. For me, symphonic metal started with my love of Nightwish. It was absolutely superseded by my love of Battle Beast. Whenever there's a chance of mentioning Battle Beast, I will mention Battle Beast.
I don't understand. I don't understand the symphonic metal into the intro there, because Battle Beast is not symphonic metal in my opinion. It's power metal, but it's not symphonic metal.
Go back and listen to Circus of Doom.
Wow.
There's a lot of symphony in there, absolutely. It's that beautiful soaring voice, Elizabeth Amodo. And just to precede this, when I've come across Spanish bands in the past, Spanish rock, I haven't been overly enamoured, and I cannot think of one band that I could cite here at all. But I just know that when I see Spanish rock, it doesn't normally tick my box. to be fair, and that's nothing against them. It's just my preference. This, however, oh my good lord, absolutely ticked it. So Elizabeth Amodo, I believe that's her, or Amoedo, could be. Her voice is fantastic. And I think what Simon was trying to describe, and described it really well, actually, there is a difference when someone, Elizabeth approaches it from an operatic stance. And the majority, when you sing, you either sing from your chest, or the best way to describe it, you sing from your head. So there's a shift in your throat of where you draw the sound from in your body. And operatic, typically, especially in arias where it's high notes, sing from the head. It is very difficult to shift, or it's a great skill to shift quickly between head and chest. And that's why, especially in musical theatre, there are standout voices and there are okay voices. And this is, I think, what you're getting here is she's just not really getting that switch quick enough, and you're picking up on that. That is my very sort of limited knowledge opinion of that. But I recognise that as well. I thought that the guitarist Unai Iglesias Lecuona was defined and adventurous with his guitar playing. There was some stuff you don't hear very often, should we say. I don't think he had anything original in there, but he definitely sort of challenged just the normal melodic type of thing that you hear, without a shadow of doubt. And together as a band, they combine so well, and I think that's what you notice that most in Providence. Absolutely, that was my standout track as well, because it combines everything so well. Then you compare that with the delicate ballad, of Threnody. And Francesco Antonelli's keyboard and piano playing in that is quite simplistic but really effective. And that is something where you don't use, the virtuosa style of piano playing, but you simplify it for much greater effect. And I thought that was fantastic. And definitely a mention to Charlie Carreton and Alejandro Fong on the drums. Charlie's on the bass. Absolutely, they had their standout moments as well. And collectively, that produced a sound that I'd not come across before. And as a little side note, Nightwish did a really good version of Phantom of the Opera, the song. These guys have done the same sort of ilk. I believe I'm not going to use the word better. It's a really enjoyable version, even though it's similar, in a different way. So definitely check that as well. It's not on this album, but a side note of hearing what they're capable of doing. And you hear where that second voice comes from much better. It's incredible. I like the name of the album. I love the name of the band. And it ticked all the boxes for me. Is it as good as Battle Beast? My score will reflect that. I don't know yet.
Ooh, thank you very much for that. That's that in-depth review. Thank you very much. What do I think? Well, you can't help but compare with Pirates. You can't help it because very, very similar vocals, and she's up there. I don't think she is good as Clementine, but she's up there, and certainly can match that. And you can't help but compare, because there is a comparison to be made. With Visions, for example, there are some great sing-along tracks as well, and instantly catchy, but yet simply sublime. There was nothing really outstanding tracks for me, but it was thoroughly enjoyable. It was, and it heading towards, I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, this is going to be up there. This is going to, and then the industrial vocal comes in to try to complement the opposition to her glorious voice. And let me tell you now, I hate it. I hate it with an absolute passion. If there's anything that I hate more than musical right now in power metal, it's a satanic growling comparison. Now, there wasn't a huge amount in there, but what it was enough to ruin what would be an absolutely perfect album. And again, I compare, and Will mentioned it about the comparison of accentuating her voice with another voice. Evil doesn't have to be a satanic voice. It can be, you look at Pirates and the way that his vocals blended with her vocals was utterly sublime. This, for me, is a personal, from a personal perspective, seems to be a theme that's running into symphonic power metals. They seem to be wanting to introduce the industrial kind of metal vocal, and for me, it ruins it. For me, it just absolutely, if it's more than 5 seconds, I am literally fast forwarding that track. I am literally, and that's a shame. And that is a shame for me, because this album is nothing short of in some areas is sublimely brilliant. I mean, brilliant. Her vocals, I absolutely agree with what you're saying. Sometimes the vocal goes, oh, you go, that's not as good, and that's that switch that you're not the only one. Simon picked up on. I picked up on that one as well. But musically, an absolute tour de force. A tour de force. And I'd be really interested if they can nail that down, leave the industrial vocals, leave it. Just leave it. I hate it. And this would have maybe gone up for top marks if it didn't have that there, because I thoroughly enjoyed the rest of the album. But I ended up skipping. And like you, Ian, it was only the Simon mentioned the 20 minutes. I went, really? Didn't feel like 20 minutes. Felt like maybe songs within a song. Certainly didn't feel like 20 minutes to me either. So I was a bit like taken back by that. But a cracking effort, though. You've got to give it. Overall, a stunningly beautiful album. Really good. Really, really good. Just like, but the critique that we all have is actually, as we mentioned right at the beginning, about for our listening pleasure, is our own personal tastes. Do you know what I mean? And for me, that growling is not something that I like. Right, okay, he says, pulling things and throwing things about. Let's find out who is going to win this battle. Will it be Saint Daemon? Will it be against myself then? So, Ian, let's start with you then, with Saint Daemon.
Yep, I think we can still hear you, Nigel, but the sound has just dropped a little bit. From you.
It's almost like your mic's changed.
Yeah, it's like
I literally just banged my mic off, and that was what fell. Hold on 1 second. There it is. I went to grab my scores. I literally ripped my mic off the table. And I went in, and I thought to myself, "What is that? What is that? What just fell?" And then obviously
There he was trying to be cool about it, and we're here embarrassing him.
I know.
Good job, all of us.
Well, no, if you didn't tell me, I would have known that my mic had fallen off. I was so focused on the fun part of it. So there we go. He says, looking at the camera while messing around with his
Trying to sort his microphone out.
let me allow you the time to fiddle with your.
No,
mic.
we're all good. Can you hear me? Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Not better.
Good. Excellent. Right. Well, thanks for picking up on that. So, Ian, as if that never happened, which might get edited, it may not. Let's
leave it in.
Let's go. Saint Daemon.
So Saint Daemon for me scored 3.
3. Okay. Trish.
4.
4. Simon.
3.
3. Will.
A perfectly average 2.5.
Really? Oh, I thought you were bigging it up a little bit more than that. Okay.
Just averaging it.
I give it a 3.5. Oh, it's all right. Good album. So let's find out what that scores. 7.5, 9.5, 10, 13, 16. Pretty solid score. That's going to get into our top 70 or 80, something like that. By the way, this is I was counting back. This is our 206th album reviews. 206 album reviews
Wow.
we've done. I forgot to mention.
Sorry, Nigel. 200 and what?
6.
Sorry.
206.
Oh,
6.
the magic number.
To the 6. Angus for 6 was up 204th. Just to kind of there we go. Anyway, against myself then, Trish.
3.
3. Oh, okay. So Saint Daemon for you then. Simon.
I'm going to knock my mic on the floor and give it a 4.
A 4. Okay, that's solid. So that's 1-1 in the battle. Will.
Three.
3.
Yeah.
I thought I was expecting a
I
higher
think.
from you. You think?
Why not?
You think?
Yeah,
So,
why not?
So you're buying against myself and Tides of Insanity. Okay, and Ian.
Did I like this as much as Battle Beast? I gave a 5-2. Yeah, it's a 5.
5! Woohoo! 5. 4 for me. Would have been up 4.55 if it didn't have the growling. But that instantly got marked down. So 4 from me. So 7, 10, 14, 19. Oh, just shy of the Hall of Fame, but certainly going to be in our top 50, and certainly up there for in our top 20 for the year so far. That's for certain. So, right, well, that was kind of a very interesting show, wasn't it? A bit longer than we expected, but thank you very much for your wonderful input. Thank you very much for joining me today. Keep up Power Metal. Well done to Against Myself and Times of Insanity for winning this mashup, and congratulations on both albums getting a really good score from us. And keep it up. We look forward to seeing what you do in the future for certain. So, but anyway, keep rocking out there. Please like and subscribe. Hit that little bell. You know, the little bell that goes, oh, they've done another review, because we do quite a few at the end of each month. And thank you to my wonderful crew, to Ian, to Trish, to Simon, and to Will for joining me today. Keep safe out there, keep rocking, and yep, we'll see you soon. Thanks very much, people.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.